Bonjour, hello, are we live? Are you walking on your end, Connor?
Yeah, I am.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. What's up, lads? This is just this is a podcast we wanted to do because it's a bit of a ramble, you know, a bit of a ramble.
Yeah.
That's why we changed the name of it to Late Night Ramble. Nah, this is just, I don't know why, but I'm just gonna explain it again. We're just gonna talk whatever we want about on this. No specific genre. This isn't music related. It's just talking shit about current stuff.
Just talking, yeah.
It's usually a bit of a rant, isn't it? A bit of a vent, like, you know.
Yeah.
But before we start that, we will say go check out our music. It's on the YouTube channel. It's on Spotify. You have to plug ourselves, you know. So go check out that. It's Copper Fox on Spotify, and just type in Copper Fox. How do you do it? And then the rest of the songs will pop up or whatever. Yes. So we have nothing planned for this one. We just we're jumping in head first into the concrete. I'll tell you, this is what we're gonna do. Connor, you go first.
Right. Okay. So yeah, I suppose I was just looking at I got an email off Spotify, and it's been like they're saying, oh, it's been a month since your release. So I was like, yeah, I was pretty happy.
Oh, that's sad, isn't it? Oh.
Yeah. Well, I was pretty happy with all the results, but it's kind of mad to think it's been a month since we released.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, doesn't it?
No, yeah, I was like, holy shit, sense. Time is flying.
The amount of work that was put into that, man, you know, it's depressing.
Yeah.
Well, on the 15th now, we will get back to the swing of band shit. It's just I was literally Connor, I need a rest. Yeah. Give me a rest. Let a brother have a breather.
We both needed a break, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
We were knackered. But
a well-earned one. And we should let you know, obviously this isn't music related a podcast, but we'll just let you know that like January fucking the 5th or something, let's say, bang, we're in recording again, so this music's gonna come quick as fuck, man. And as Connor, like as you said a while ago, I mean, we can do it. I definitely want to do the EP with Yanko, but I want to try other producers. We can do like one song with a producer and be like, oh, try this one, and see what they produce, like, see what it sounds like, you know. Because we still have like so much material that doesn't make any sense. Like, it's just ridiculous. It is so ridiculous. Yeah. And I'm going to get cracking on them demos now. Hopefully next weekend.
Cool. Yeah.
So that EP number 2 will be fleshed out and shit, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Fucking this. The whole, well, let's talk about the world for a minute, shall we? The whole world's gone to shit, and it's still gone to shit. When we did the other podcast, fucking bootleg podcast, which was supposed to be about like musicians and shit, but then COVID hit, and we just weren't allowed to talk to people unless they're 40 foot away or something, like, and everyone just gave up. Like, a lot of bands quit and all, so we were just like, fuck this, we'll just talk shy. But every single day was like, here's something about COVID. I feel like Late Night Rambles is going to be, did you hear what Putin did? Did you hear about World War 3? Because that's where it's fucking headed, man. It's so crazy, man.
Nah. Yeah.
I was reading a Sky News joke today by I can't remember who it was actually, but it's Sky News regardless. Whether reputable or not, it's up to yourself to decide. But I class them as mostly reputable. But apparently, Poland is like, here, USA, can we like hold a nuke for us? Like, you can keep one here if you want, just in case. Like, so I don't know whether they're actually gonna go ahead and do it. I mean, it'd be smart strategically for the US to do that, but it's still like poking the bear a bit. But Poland, they're shitting themselves because they already got invaded by they were invaded in World War II, so they know what it's like. Like, that was only like 70 years ago, so they're kind of like, we know where this is going. And then Zelensky himself is handing out potassium and iodine tablets, and he's made designated like zones for like if they do nuke where people should go and stuff, and apparently like he's convinced anyway. But then again, it could be just a scam. He's like, oh, let me just say this so he'll give us more money. I'm not saying he's doing that, but they're asking for 645 extra million, and then we kind of said, we don't really have that to spare. And then he's like, oh, everyone quick, they're gonna nuke us. And now everyone's like, oh, we better give them money. So it could be true now. Jesus, I don't know. Connor, question for you: do you honestly believe he would drop a nuke? Do you think he would?
No,
if so, why?
I just don't think so, because I think it has catastrophic, like really catastrophic effects on both sides. Like the nukes were only like, I don't think people really understand like how bad, like that's hundreds of thousands of people potentially just
well dead. He could drop a small nuke. It doesn't have to be like a fucking Hiroshima. Well, actually Hiroshima was actually pretty small, to be honest.
That's what I'm saying.
There is tactical little nukes.
It's still got like catastrophic effects. I just don't know if he do it, because if he do it, I feel like everyone would retaliate, and I think as much as people hate him, I don't think he's stupid. Do you know?
Yeah, but you see, I think he would, because he's at that talking so much, and he is a kind of he has to show force of. Show his. Let's say he's a man. Let's put it this way, right? When you're a dictator and doing all this propaganda shit, and you're seen as this powerful thing from like the east or whatever, yeah, right? If you back, it's like if you back yourself into a corner. He's at there saying it so many times now that I feel like he's like, I can't say no because then I'm showing weakness, and he doesn't want to show, especially not right now. He can't show weakness because apparently a lot of the troops that were do you mean no way they were like conscripted there, like. Well, it was called a semi-conscription or whatever, but it's conscription. Everyone tried to flee Russia, like all the fucking. There was only a couple of places taking flights out, and everybody hiked the prices to try and stop them leaving and stuff, you know.
I saw that.
But it goes to show you, man. It goes to show you, man, that the Russian people they don't fucking want this, you know.
No, well that's
and that's one thing. If you have you could have like 100 motivated men and 1,000 unmotivated men, and the 100 motivated men will always win. Because if you have an army that just doesn't want to be there, they're not gonna fight. You know what I mean? Apparently, there's a hotline that the Ukraine set up, being like, you can just ring in and say you surrender and hand yourself in, and we'll just take it into a fucking yoke, and there you go. You don't have to fight like or whatever, you know. And apparently they've been inundated like thousands of calls, being like, yeah, we're over here, our little campus here, we fucking don't want to come in, because apparently they're pushing Russia back like a good amount at the minute, you know.
Yeah,
they're showing some serious resistance.
I saw that, but then like it's hard to know, because then there's periods where Russia seems to be winning, but I think in general Ukraine seems to be winning by quite a bit at the moment. But yeah,
I don't even think this is a winning or losing war.
Yeah,
it's such a fucking. It's just
it's
like a.
I don't know.
You see, it's not like as if
this. Sorry, go on.
No, it's not like World War II or one where like here's the battlefront. It's like we're going to go into the city, and like you can, urban warfare is impossible to do unless you just drop nukes. It's impossible. You'll never win.
Yeah.
Like it's the reason why the IRA was so effective. It's guerrilla tactics, and it's like you're going into enemy like they know all of their territory, all the regions, where all the buildings are. They've all the plans, all the layouts. They know exactly strategically where to be, where they can get you. Like, and you have citizens throwing Molotovs on them and everything. Like you're not just going into a city. Like you're not going onto like a front line like trenches and being like enemies are over there and we're over here and we have to kill them. It's like, where the fuck, Eddie? You can send in 1,000 men into the city and you're like, we don't even know. We're trying to aim straight, aim at the windows, aim at the roofs, and it's just impossible to keep all your ground cover, you know. So this could go on for fucking years, man. If he doesn't drop a nuke, although I'm convinced he might drop a small one, just to be like, haha, I'm big power hungry, I'm power man, you know. Yeah, and I won't put it past him. But see, I think if he dropped a small one, I don't think we would, like, the West would retaliate. I don't think. I think they'd be like, wow. They might step in, but they won't launch one back, because then you're actual starting nuclear war. But you can let a small one fly, and then, you know.
Yeah, well, I think the problem is, like, a lot of people want the West and stuff to get involved, but the problem is if we get involved, then it just literally just turns into a world war.
It's literally World War III.
Like China, for example, could take Russia's side, and then, you know, it's a proper war, like. But yeah,
that's the fucking. That's the.
You think for
fucking the trickery of it, yeah. It's not as easy. Like I hate when people do that though. They think it's so easy as like, why don't we just do this? I'm like, because if you do that, like you have to, it's like playing chess. War is literally, it's strategic chess, like, except people's lives are at fucking stake. If we let's say if US went, we're gonna help. Obviously, if they're seeking allies, then Russia is allowed to seek allies, which means they're going to be like, hey, China, hey, fucking you over there, hey, here, hey, Iraq, hey. It'll literally be East versus West, which is crazy, because if you think about it, Nostradamus, ooh, spooky. That's the fellow who did a lot of mad predictions in the fucking 1600s, and he was like, yes, it'll come from Russia, it'll come from the West, World War III, and everyone's like, oh shit, he was right again. I don't know. I'm fucking. Are you nervous, man? I'm pretty fucking nervous.
Yeah, no, it does seem to be a bit. I feel like the fact that they're reporting it a lot more kind of shows that it's really prevalent now. Like,
oh god, it's precarious, man. We're in the war as a. Well, I'm not sure if we mentioned it before, but I feel like we're in the worst position ever. We have no protection. We have our whole like fucking west side of our country is just sea. And Russia, during the start of this, remember they had the subs out there, and everyone's like, hey, get out of our waters, please. And they were like, nah. They were just showing strength. When they invaded, they were just showing us, being like, we could attack you. You know, just for the crack.
Yeah.
So what Hitler? That's why Hitler wanted us, because I mean, you can just drop bombs every fucking 10 seconds, you know.
Yeah.
Oh man, scary. And I mean, this is the part where all the UFO and alien conspiracy people. This is the part where they should be rubbing their hands together, going, "Here's where the aliens are going to intervene, like we always predict." Because they always say they never let you use nukes. UFOs are always around nuke bases and shit. I'm like, well, his finger seems to be a couple of inches away from the button, mate. So where the fuck's the aliens? Show up and fucking help us, man. God damn it.
It's mad.
You
We
let
need
us down.
aliens to help us, to be honest.
Oh, depressing. Fucking depressing. Yeah, man.
What was it?
Sorry, go on.
I saw something. It kind of stuck with me. It was like a sci-fi article. It was basically saying that aliens are future humans, millions of years in advance.
I heard that one.
Yeah, they were going through the science of it and stuff, and I was like, "Fuck, this is actually quite believable." Like,
you know what? One of the points was like, oh well, if you think about evolution, if you go a million years in the future, we will end up like that because we're already gone that way because we're merging with technology and we will not need to reproduce.
Yeah.
We'll be able to reproduce like through fucking basically man-made biology rather than you won't need to have sex or nothing. And to be honest, that's the only thing keeping the human race like down is our primal urges. Once they're gone, man, we're gonna fly because everyone's just like, this is for the greater good, intelligence. Not that aliens speak like that, but usually in media they're portrayed like that. But yeah, man, if you think about it, a million years in the future we will look like that. We'll have big huge heads, bigger brains. We won't need to speak. We'll have fucking super fucking communication skills and shit. We'll have all this technology and wild shit. We won't even need to have sex. We won't even need to have. We need to show love or show hate. There'll be no point. It'll just be like, this is for to learn or some shit, you know. Crazy, man. Fucking crazy. You know what's mad though? It's mad how serious everyone is kind of taking the whole UFO thing the past while. They're taking it really serious, like the amount of like a lot of government files, CIA files and shit and everything were like, oh yeah, we don't call them. They keep changing the name. It was UFO, then it was UAP, then it was UF something, then it was something. They keep changing the name so that when you can't really can't search for information properly because every couple of years they change the name. They classify it as a like another area of phenomenon. So it was UAF, and then it was UAP, and then it was, you know what I mean? So it's far hard to like fucking research it properly, but they are releasing the files. It's like they're drip feed and shit, man. They're drip feed, and you know what's a fair point as well. This is from someone else's point of view, but it's a good one to copy, right? Yeah. So you know the way aliens like they're trying to slowly show themselves because they just came down and were like, here we are. We go, what the fuck is that? And the fella equated it to do you remember that tribe was found in the Amazon that was untouched for like 10,000 years? They were literally Stone Age people, like. Yeah, we didn't just drop in and go, oh, here's a bleeding computer. Did you hear about Jesus and all this? Like, we literally, like, they stood miles away on the other island and we're just letting them look at them and then slowly got closer just to show them that they were, like, we're not threats and, like, we're humans and everything, you know? So maybe that's the same thing that they're doing, you know? They're just kind of slowly showing themselves. Because imagine if they just, like, it would disrupt the whole planet, like, the whole world, like, you know? That'd be the biggest thing in the history of anything would be defined like smart life, you know, intelligent life. Crazy shit.
Yeah, no, it's kind of madness. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like that there's like as you said, there's a lot of research being done on it, and I feel like the fact that they're changing the name so often kind of illustrates that they're doing a lot of research behind the scenes, but they don't want people to know about it. So either they don't know how like factual the evidence is, or they've gotten pretty far into a certain topic that they're afraid to announce. But
well, you're trying to stay away from the stigma as well, because there's a stigma with UFO now. There's a stigma as in like, oh, you're crazy, UFOs, ha ha ha, very funny, oh, little green man. But now it's like, no, the military have tracked these stuff. Like, there was one instance where they tracked it and it dropped from like, what was it, fucking 8,000 feet to literally hovering above the water in less than a second. Their radar barely caught it. It went boom. And then it just went under the sea, and that was it. And they were like, what the fuck was that? That, like, because nothing on the earth can move like that. Like, it defies actual logic of, like, fucking physics. It defies the laws, like, of nature. Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. So they're just like, what the fuck was that? You see, they've tried to shoot at them sometimes, but when they shoot, nothing could, like, they're able to disable their fucking weapons, like. Yeah. They've actively tried to shoot on them, and there's a couple of reports in Iraq where there's pilots being like, oh, when there's an active battle zone, we see them constantly, like they're wherever it is, they're viewing us, and they're like, we don't know what it, because they're definitely not like, they're definitely manned because they're aware when you aim at them to move. So someone somewhere is controlling them. Like, they don't know if they're like drones or if they're like fucking. But then again, if they are drones, they're definitely not man-made drones, regardless. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
So, and that's what the new kind of thing is that around hot battle zones, like you say, in the Middle East and stuff like that. There's a lot of case files and documents and all that saying, yeah, we seen this and we tried to shoot on it and we couldn't shoot on it. Like our weapons were disabled, like and stuff. Which is, if you think about that, that's fucking wild. Absolutely wild.
No. There's the other side as well. Like, I don't know if you've looked into that at all, but there's been like reports of basically the military like claiming that they make like certain aircrafts in weird objects and they don't want people to know about. And a lot of people,
I mean, like a secret weapon or something. That
exactly.
Saying,
and they don't want to basically like any other country to copy their design. So there's that side of thing as well, where it's a lot of it is for military base, but yeah, I mean, there's definitely.
I don't know. I'd call that misinformation from the government. That's what I call that. I'm pure fucking Mulder out the X-Files here. I'm telling you straight. It's a conspiracy by the government, man. But fuck it is, man. Because but you have, as you said, for years and years, that was the narrative that the government actually put out. But the past while, it's changing. Now they have official military saying we don't know what they are. We don't know what this is. No one, like, it literally because as the years went on, you can't deny evidence. Like, you can have a camera phone that is better than any camera that has been made in the past 100 years. You can have it and tip your fingers. Like, everything's recorded. Like, everyone records everything. Like, you know. So it's like you get some. That's what's gas though. I see if you look up like modern kind of footage taken from phones, it looks CGI, and you're like, is it CGI or the phone's just that good? You know what I mean? Like, it's some of it is very like, I'm very good at being like, that's bullshit, but sometimes I'm like, that could be fucking. That could be something, but then again, I'm like, I can't trust it because it's first of all, it's on the internet. Second of all, it's like CGI is great. You know what I mean? But it could be just a high quality phone, and we just literally don't know what the fuck we're looking at. You know? Mad stuff. Mad fucking stuff.
The problem.
Did you ever see that before? By the way, did you yourself?
I haven't. No, I mean, there was one time, was pretty creepy. I was driving back. I'd say it was like 2 years ago. From, I can't remember where, but yeah, I was driving back. I was in my dad's car, and I heard this like zoom sound, and it was so like high pitched, if you get me. But it like but it was like, do you know, like, do you ever hear of what's it called, like a pitch shift? You know the way it starts in a really high pitch and then it goes in a low. Exactly, it goes in a low pitch, and like, it was just so weird because like I wasn't on the motorway or anything. I was just like driving on like a 50 or 60 zone or something like that. So I was driving slowly.
The fuck is that?
And I heard this sound, and it wasn't for like a brief second or that. It was for full on for like 40 seconds. And Jesus I was just Christ. Like, what the fuck? I genuinely was like, oh, the baby was like, I don't know, hallucination or something. But it's just like, it stayed with me, and it was really weird. Like, I didn't see anything.
Oh, did you?
I got a bit of a fright. Yeah, like do you know what it feels like? Something's above your head. Like, you know, your ears are pretty sensitive. They like they have like
directional microphone. Yeah. You know, like, what's going on. Yeah.
But you can kind of sense where something is, you know, by hear. Like, they say your hearing's much better than your sight. Like, if you're blind, for example, your hearing is going to be exceptionally good because you're using that one sense. But it's kind of mad. Like, I could tell it was coming from behind me and then going straight on, and it sounded like it was like taking off or something. It was so weird. How about yourself?
Fuck. Man, I have two legitimate ones and a lot of bullshit ones that I've seen. For years I thought I was seeing UFOs out my back, but I got a set of binoculars like 5-6 years ago, and it turns out they were just helicopters, which was actually depressed the fuck out of me. But twice I've seen stuff I can't explain. One time, and this is gonna sound like I'm an absolute psychopath, right? I was like 16, right? Yeah. And I was in my back garden, right? And it was with Luke and Dara and Aiden. I'm pretty sure Tara was there. And I turned around really quick to look, and there's like, if you look at my back garden, there's two buildings, and there's a big huge gap in between them, like about fucking 30 foot or something like that. So I turned to look really quick, and I looked above the gaff, and it was just huge. When I say huge, I'm talking fucking, like, covered up fucking a good chunk of the sky. Like, this thing was like low, and I looked really quick, and it was like triangle shaped and shit, and had lights underneath it. But I looked, snapped my head, and then snapped back, went, what the fuck was that? And there was nothing there. So either I'm a complete fucking psychopath and had a mental breakdown for like 4 seconds, or I seen some shit. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure I seen some shit. But then I seen other weird shit where I'm just like, what the fuck is that? You know, which is. But then again, it's hard for them to verify. It's very hard to verify, isn't it? It's not like a ghost where you can go, did you see that or something? You know, like it's. I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. Like,
It's you never know. It could have been fucking. I'm convinced I seen something anyway, regardless. Because there is reports of them being absolutely silent, which they can't explain. They're like, it makes no sense. They're literally silent, and they're able to move like that. So let's say I looked, and I seen it, and looked back, and it was already gone or some shit. You know, I don't fucking know. I just know I seen something weird.
Yeah, no, it's fucking odd, to be honest. Like, yeah,
fucked up, man. Fucked up. Yeah, I'm gonna do some more I've actually been very into that the past while. Very funny you brought it up, man.
No,
I've actually been just looking up a lot of videos and shit on YouTube and all. Yeah, it's really because it's getting really interesting now because you're not called a nut because you can actually go, well, there's loads of actual clips that the military released. You can just look them up. Just type in military UFO and you can see it tracking it and it just vanishes and it's moving like 4 times the speed of sound.
I think
and you're like, what?
I think there was one like documentary I saw ages ago. It was really good, but it was about UFO sightings, and basically it was this place in the US, like close enough to Alabama, like proper out in the sticks, like, and it was this like small town, but basically there was 20 people talking about this story, describing the exact same shape. The period, the timeline was the exact same. They're saying, so this person was like literally beamed up and brought down, and he had scars and stuff after and was in hospital. But they were talking about the whole thing, and like, oh my god, like it was so like, I feel like when there's 20 people talking about this, and
there's
like,
something going on there.
Yeah, and none of them like were related in any like form. Like there was 3 tourists in the town. The rest of them didn't even know each other, and like it was mad. Like I was like, oh my god. And even like the police were talking about it, and like they had recordings of each sighting, and they were like kind of putting a storyline together, and they were all very similar storylines. Like it was mad. But yeah, fuck. Like when you listen to that kind of stuff. Do
you remember? I'm not sure if you heard about that one or not, but it's one of the most famous ones because even the governor of fucking. Where was it again? Phoenix, Arizona. The governor seen it and was like, "That was UFOs, boys." The Phoenix Lights. Just type in the Phoenix Lights on YouTube.
Okay. Yeah,
and it's like thousands and thousands of people seen it. So they the government had to address it, and they were like, "Oh, it was weather balloons." And then it was like, "No, it wasn't." Then they were like, "Oh yeah, it was actually flares from the airbase that we were shooting up for the crack." At like 11 o'clock in the night for no reason, and everyone's like, that doesn't even make any sense. It wasn't flares. These were like literally balls of light, and you were like moving and shifting shape and shit, and it was just fucking. Everyone's seeing that, and they were like, "What the fuck did we just witness?" You know. But then they explained it away. But you see, it's the fucking news cycle, man. It's fresh for a week, and then everyone goes, no one gives a fuck about COVID anymore. It's like just a flavour of the week shit. So it's sad that something like that the whole planet didn't go, "What the fuck was that?" We're definitely getting invaded or some shit, you know.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, right? Would you be afraid that they're like hostile? Do you reckon they're hostile, friendly, or what the fuck?
No, as I said, like I strongly believe like that they're probably aware of us and aware that we exist, and I feel like if they could have attacked us, they would have attacked us by now. But I don't feel like they seem threatened by us. I think they're more advanced. I think they're more kind of curious as to like what our purpose is, and they're kind of studying to see, like a bit like us,
like an anthropologist or something, like
because like
being like, oh, what are these creatures, and see how they work and all that.
Like if you think about it, they're probably thinking the exact same thing we're thinking. They're just far more advanced, you know. Like they're like, what's the purpose of these people, what are they here for, blah blah blah.
Crazy.
Like,
we must be rare enough though, because I mean, if a planet filled with this amount of like species, what are the odds that only one of them ended up with like actual function to think about the universe and to comprehend what's actually happening, rather than just living as a biological form and just going, oh, sex, eat, die, oh, sex, eat, shit, die, you know? We're actually able to perceive it and go, why the fuck is this, and what is the universe, and what the fuck, like, you know? Maybe we're rare, maybe we're just like we're maybe they're keeping us safe, man. Maybe they're protecting us. Maybe that's why they're like, let's not launch the nukes, boys, and they keep shutting them down. Because apparently that's what happened during the Cuban Missile Crisis and stuff. There's actual legit reports being like, there's stuff hovering over the silos with the missiles, and they shut down all of our systems. We can't even if we wanted to launch, we can't launch. That's
It's-
like that's factual. That actually happened. That you can read them files on the internet. Just type in Cuban Missile Crisis UFO, and it'll pop up. It's declassified stuff. Like it's so I don't know. Maybe if Putin wanted to launch it, well, he can't anyway because the aliens are protecting us.
Yeah, go on, aliens.
Where are you, boys? Just show yourselves, man. Save us from this nonsense, man. All the senseless killing can be stopped. Just show your face. Face reveal.
They're probably like these golf
Do a face reveal on cam. Go on.
They're probably like these golf shites fucking fighting over the stupidest shite ever.
Well, that brings you back to me point. Maybe they're just like these people are just they're not ready. They're not actually they're intelligent, but they still have that animal instincts. Like they can't just be like, this is for the greater good or for humanity. It's just like, well, what can I get? Well, what can you get? We're very like primal still, you know. Like I to be honest, I think we and this is gonna sound absolutely crazy, but then again, we're living in a universe that was created out of fucking nonsense. The universe shouldn't even exist by logic, okay? So anything could be possible. So call me crazy, call me a nut, call me whatever you want. You can call me fucking Shirley, yeah, right. I'm convinced because it makes no sense how there's this big huge joint gaps of technological improvement over the past like 10,000 years. It makes no sense evolutionary wise. It makes no sense that only 2,000 years ago there was none of this.
Yeah.
When for 4 million years or 4 million years or whatever or 11 million years on the planet, there was nothing because dinosaurs were gone. There was not. So how the fuck can 2,000 years change so quick? Even just humans as a species change so quick. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
And there's always like you think about Egypt, and then well, Connor, you'll give an even better one. Go back 100 years before like technology, like a completely different planet altogether. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't make any sense. There's always seems to be these big huge steps in advancement, big huge steps every like 1,000 years, big joint leap, big joint leap, big joint leap. So maybe these people are like helping us or some shit. I don't know. Because I still think it makes no sense. Some of the structures that are made a couple of 1,000 years ago, they don't make any sense. Humans definitely couldn't have made them. You can't. There's no logical way they could have made them without like. There's some of the stuff that are like. There's a cave in where the fuck is it actually I can't remember, but it's like an unfinished temple type thing. I'm pretty sure it's in like Tibet or something mad, but it doesn't make any sense. They don't know how they made it, so they hollowed the cave. Right, first of all, it wasn't a cave; it was a mountain face, and they built the cave. So they had to hollow the cave out, and they polished it so well that it's like there's a good 3 or 4 inches of fucking like clear stone. And they've no idea how the fuck they did that. It doesn't make it like it's we can't do it today with every bit of technology we have. We cannot do it. It doesn't make any sense. And there's some of the stones, some of the structures in Egypt are built or in Egypt and in Mexico, right? They're built with such precision that you can't even fit a fucking piece of paper through it. But the stones are all different shape, and it's like they were cut with fucking lasers. Like it doesn't make any sense. We cannot do it today. It doesn't make it's just not logical, you know.
Well,
and it's like, well, they had all these slaves. I'm like, that doesn't make a fucking difference. Literally makes no difference. With one mistake, you have to rebuild the whole structure, like, you know.
That's the thing, like when you think about it, like even like
it's lost knowledge, isn't it?
The sheer weight of stuff, and they had no machinery back then, and you're like, for example, like for lifting like a ton of concrete today, like you'd get 1,000 people that wouldn't be able to do it, like, you know.
It doesn't make any sense. Makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, it's mad.
Like there's an unfinished obelisk in Egypt, right? An unfinished one, which is still in the ground. But they realised that there was a couple of like faulty bits, so they just left it. It was unfinished, right? But they already had dug out the square of it, but it's still attached to the rock. So how the fuck would they've even cut out the under part? How the fuck and then lifted it?
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense. How the I don't know. It's wild. I love thinking about shit like that because it's unfathomable. And we'll never know. It's like the ultimate mystery. No, you can't go back in time and fucking see it. It's crazy shit, man. Yeah. Apparently there's a maze. There's a maze actually underneath. Is it the Giza Plateau?
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah,
but it's a maze. Yeah. It's a maze that was talked about in a lot of Roman emperors and all that. Alexander the Great apparently in one of his diaries was like, oh, I went to visit Egypt and he had this maze that and he talks about it being ancient, that the ancients built. So we're talking this thing is way older than 2,000 years anyway, like way older we're talking. Yeah. And apparently they kind of built over it and paved over it and shit. And some fella actually found it and was like, well, and the Egyptian government are like, well, you can't go into it. They're like, why? Because it's Egypt has a big huge dam built where the Nile is, and it was built like where that kind of floods up. So if they were to try and they'd have to knock down the dam and flood everything to get into it. So they're like, it's impossible to get in. So we'll never know what's in it. But apparently it's like a hall of records. Like, there's just tons of fucking ancient scrolls and shit and all. Yeah, so it's, imagine what the fuck is in there, you know?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be huge as well. Fucking huge. Man, depressing altogether.
Yeah,
I think, like, when you think about it as well, right, I know we're going into half conspiracy shit, like, again, but if you think about, like, ancient times, when they're talking about, like, every culture has a flood story, right, and you can go to Graham Hancock and shit, where it obviously, well, it's proven that a comet did hit, like, roughly, what was it, 16,000 years ago, something like that, and it did destroy a lot of civilizations that were just wiped out. So what knowledge did they have that they didn't get a chance to fucking save or pass on? And then that's just gone. Like, it could happen to us. Put it this way, man, if a nuke dropped, let's say the power went out, bang, for the next couple of 100 years, we don't have to fucking build laptops. You can really explain it. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of knowledge is just lost. Because no one's really an expert anymore. Because everyone just goes, oh, just Google it. You can't Google anything anymore. You know what I mean? Like, everyone's going to go back to the fucking Stone Age, basically.
That's so true, yeah.
Crazy. Fucking crazy. So can you imagine the knowledge that we already lost already? You know what I mean? Like, because if you think about a piece of metal's going to rust and disintegrate in about fucking a couple of 100 years. That's what happens to steel. So they probably had all this fucking weird technology and machines and shit, and they're just gone because the time took it. You know? That's why we should make our stuff out of plastic, because apparently it doesn't disintegrate for like 700 years. So we should start making technology out of just plastic. You know? Fucking crazy though. Went on a big mad tangent there. Sorry, Connor. Find it mad interesting though.
No,
that's your fault talking about aliens. You got me started.
Oh man, aliens. I don't know what it is about aliens. They just, I don't know, like it's just
it's fascinating.
Yeah, they really
fascinating.
I've always watched
it's a bit like God. It's like you can't prove it is or it isn't. It might be, it might not be. I don't fucking know.
That's what I like. Like, I like having arguments and like people, you know, have one side, other people have the other side, and it's kind of good actually, like, because, and especially when there's a bit of evidence, but there's not a huge amount of evidence yet. Like, it's very much your own belief, but it will get to a stage where, I don't know. Like, there's
too much. You can't deny it.
There's definitely like some things you just can't explain. But
UFOs you fucking can explain. It has to be aliens, because if it's not us building them, it's someone fucking else. Someone's making them. Someone's doing this. You know, someone has the fucking super fucking knowledge, because how can, right, it makes no sense. How can you move left, right, up, back, down in any direction, right, and not be afflicted by like any resistance? No wind resistance, no force. Like, gravity is still a thing even when you're in the sky. You know what I mean? Like, so how on the God's earth did they do that? You know?
Imagine being able to go to the US in about 15 seconds. Boop, boop.
Oh, bang, just blink of an eye. Bam, there we are, boys. Absolutely crazy. I can't wait until we actually visit Mars and see, because there's a load of evidence that points that like Mars was definitely habitable. I'm not talking like aliens as in like or you're gonna find, like, as you said, little green man or some stupid fucking shit. I'm talking there was just life on Mars. I'm convinced there was, because it had the same atmosphere as Earth up to like fucking, what was it? Not that long ago, cosmically speaking. So pretty recent, yeah. So I'd love for them, us to get there and actually have a dig around and see if we can find any bones or some shit. You know, very curious. Wouldn't it be funny if it turns out, oh look, it's a cat skeleton, dog skeleton. Biology does the same thing all over the fucking universe. It just does this, you know. Really interesting.
The problem with like space exploration and stuff like that is we did a load of it, and it's so expensive that like we just don't do enough of it. Like, we haven't made any major discoveries in ages because there just hasn't been enough funding at all. Like,
there's no money to be made in it. So what's the point? You know, what's the point?
That's the thing.
Oh,
like,
depressing.
There's more to money sometimes, you know. But it's just the way the world 100%. Works.
You see, that's our primal instinct again. As I said, if we were like aliens, where like we don't care about sex, food, or fucking or fighting or resources, we can just go. We put all of our effort and brain power into doing this thing, and we can figure it out really quick. You know what I mean? Like, we could do, like, the human brain. The fact that we're able to perceive the laws of the universe makes us fucking uber smart, yeah. If we just put all our resources together and put it this way, if culture nurtured knowledge rather than nurtured popularity, if you know what I mean, like a person could be a super genius, but you go on TikTok and go, I'm a genius. People go, yeah, but you don't have any titties, or you're not Like, you cannot engage in me like with this. People just want quick. That's the primal brain, though. Again, quick dopamine. Next video. Next video. Like, we revere actors rather than revering like fucking mathematicians and super uber rich. Like, imagine giving a mathematician, here's $1 billion. Do every bit of research and what do you need? But you won't. There's no point. There's no fucking. You don't get anything ever. No return on it. You know, it's not an investment. It's just like, here you go. That's why it was class back in, like, you know, the fucking 1600s and all that, and the 1100s and all that. You'd have like a patron. So you'd have like Da Vinci, and people would go, my God, he's a Renaissance man. He's super smart. I'll pay you to do your research, you know?
Yeah,
We need some shit like that, you know? I feel like Elon Musk could do that. He'd be like, I'll pay you $1 billion, just do your research. I feel like he would.
He probably would. I mean,
would.
he's the only one, like, as much as people like him or hate him, he's the only one really who's actually put a bit of money.
Even thought about any of this, man, yeah.
Whereas
even thought about like anything other than himself, like, yeah.
Yeah, but I will
Crazy
say,
shit. Did you see he was forced into buying Twitter there?
I saw that. Yeah, did he buy it in the end?
He's forced, yeah. Yeah, the deal is getting finalised, so he has to pay like 44 billion, which is a drop at the hat for him anyway. But it just means that like he didn't want to buy it because he was like, you lied about your statistics, you bastards. Like 50% of your users are fucking bots. You lying sacks of shit.
Yeah.
It's very funny though, because a lot of Donald Trump will be unbanned anyway.
Yeah,
just to throw a wrench in the works.
He'll unban everyone.
100%, yeah.
He'll make it better, I'd say. Or he'll put SpaceX on it or something.
Oh, 100%, yeah. Like, he's a good advocate for free speech. I like that. Well, anyone that's willing to advocate free speech in any form, I'm like, yeah, I can support you.
Yeah.
I feel like you should be able to say anything to anyone. It's up to them to whether they want to be upset or not, but they don't have to listen to you. You're not forced to read Twitter. You're not forced to go into someone's post and look at it, you know? Like, there is a block button, like, you know?
The problem, like, with these social medias is, like, that, to be honest with you, all they give a fuck about is money. And they just want they just want sponsorships on. So, like, the likes of Zuckerberg, for example, I wouldn't classify him as a great inventor at all, because I mean, it's proven that, like, first of all, it wasn't even his idea, it was his friend's idea, and second of all, like what really did he accomplish? Like, that kind of like form of communication was done before, like, you know, it's not like he was the first person to like do a text, like say text or something like that, for example. Yeah. Or like first kind of.
Well, I can respect the fact that he did invent something new, not the Facebook itself or social like media, like, but he invented the social media sphere, let's say. The fact that everyone can, like, put it this way, Facebook can affect political rallies now. That's where you have to shut down a lot of groups really quick now, because it's like a public forum where instead of standing in the street and gathering in a bunker, you can gather on Facebook now, or you can gather on Twitter now. You know what I mean? You can form groups. So I can appreciate you invented something new in the aspect of that. But I mean, as you said, I don't think he's not a visionary. He's just not doing anything great. He basically went, oh, here's Facebook, and then fuck it. Well, he's investing a bit in artificial intelligence and VR, which I can appreciate that. But then again, he's building on stuff that's already there. He hasn't really he's not like. There's creatives and visionaries. Yeah, like, he's not a visionary. He's a creative, as in he can have ideas and build on them, but you'll never have any original ideas, if you get what I mean, you know?
But to me, he's just a businessman, because what he does is he buys companies that are creative. Like even his VR like stuff, like that's and WhatsApp. That's not his. That was other company, and like what's his VR thing? You know, I can't even know. Oculus Rift or whatever it's called.
That's it. Yeah. Oculus Rift.
But VR hasn't really took off, which is kind of surprising yet.
It's just not there though. The technology just isn't, not yet. It is getting very good though. It is getting good.
It is there though. I just don't think it's there commercially, like affordably wise. Like,
that's it.
Like, if you have the money, like, Jesus Christ, you can. It's been proven, like, for example, for fear of heights and stuff, they use like VR games, and it's been proven to actually work, or for fear of spiders or fear of any of that stuff. So they could really use it to the advantage. It's just expensive.
I think it's going to be like I think I think that's what kind of happened with television. Remember, like, people were like, who the fuck's going to use this or whatever? Yeah. And then eventually every house has one because it became affordable. I think that is going to happen eventually, I think.
Yeah, I suppose.
Like, eventually it's going to be like, you know, I feel like VR is going to be like, you can probably go to work in VR. Like, you can have a work atmosphere and actually get like an office. You can probably, instead of renting out a building, it'd be cheaper to be like, here's your headset, go home and join the server, you know?
Oh my god, that's actually putting like an image in my head. That's actually genius. Holy fuck! Like, could you imagine how much you'd save?
Just
Jesus.
100%, man. Imagine having to rent out a building or anything like that, and there's no such thing as like, oh, I need to take the. Like, you're already at home.
And you'd
Like,
still get
so-
you'd still get the interaction, you know, because you'd be
Yeah.
there. You're
And
like, oh, hi John.
Everyone would be there, yeah. Everyone's avatar would be all dressed all mad and all. You're in an
so
office though doing
weird.
office work.
Oh, sorry, I was just going for a toilet. Yeah, that's not bothering. Walking.
Yeah, grand, yeah.
Oh man.
Oh fuck! I feel like we are going to merge though. We're going to merge with machines, man. It's going that way.
Yeah.
We rely too much on them now. We can't survive without them. Literally. I don't know anyone that has actual survival skills. If the grid went down and electricity stopped and the water stopped flowing, I'd die. Do not know what to do. I'd end up beating my neighbours now. Literally, I'm like, I have to live. I don't know what to do. I have to drink your blood and eat your brains. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh Christ! We're at the mercy. Mercy of nature still. It's all gone full circle. It literally, you know what's gas though? Just to bring it back to the ancient aliens and the the catastrophe thing, right? If that happened and the grid went down and we all starved and wore ourselves out and you know who'd still survive? That fucking tribe in the Amazon, because they've been doing it since the dawn of time. They'd be grand.
Yeah.
So they'll just keep living and eventually they'll evolve into us and then it'll just cycle repeats. Maybe that's what's been happening. The fucking cycle just keep repeating itself.
Well, what was it? Who? Oh, there was some. You know Jordan Peterson. He was talking like he says some outrageous stuff sometimes, but sometimes he actually says stuff that
No, he
makes sense.
doesn't. I agree with everything he says. I'm a big fan. I have his two books, read them. They're very, very good books. I suggest them.
Some of the stuff he says, I wouldn't 100% agree with, but a lot of the stuff he says is pretty damn spot on. But he said something about hunter gatherers, and he was basically talking about tribes, and he was like basically saying how they are hunter gatherers essentially. You know, they get their own food and all this, and he was saying that like in the modern world, if you think about it, like you literally just you pay for your food. He was basically saying if we were putting it in the same circumstances, we literally just die because we're not capable of hunting and gathering. So in a way, we've kind of gone back in time in that sense. And he was basically saying like the actual importance of like farming and, you know, all this, like, you know, getting your own food and like kind of realizing how things are done and made. Like a lot of stuff is kind of just handed to us nowadays. Like even a phone, for example, like a lot of people have a phone. They don't realize like how it works, how certain things.
Oh, nobody does.
No, that's
Nobody
the thing.
fucking
Like,
does.
but you know, you don't question it, do you? You're just like, grand, yeah. I'll just go on. I'll just do this.
It's
like,
just so convenient. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was.
You know what
mad.
you know what freaked me out, right? Do you know as I got older, right? This is one thing that really fucking like spooked me, right? When I was like, like phones only kind of started getting like popular when I was like fucking 13, 14, 15. Because I'm old as fuck now, right? I'm not even that old. I'm only 28 now. But phones, like especially touchscreen phones, weren't even invented. Like people still using clicky phones, right?
Yeah.
It was so strange to watch a fucking me niece who's like 3, right? You just use a phone. I just know what she's doing. I'm like, what the fuck, man? That's wild. That's complicated shit. Like you're functioning a big computer there in your hand. You don't even realize it.
Yeah.
Like that's wild. Like the humans are just they're humans that are like under the age of like 10 now are just that's their life. That's just how they are. You know.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Oh, it's insane.
Like they're the first people who are going to merge with it, I think, because that is their life. Like they don't know what it's like to not be able to Google something or something like that. You know. I do.
Yeah.
Madness altogether.
That's insane. That's insane.
Yeah. Shout out Jordan Peterson. Don't mind Connor. I'm a propagandist. Go boys books.
No, no, seriously though. He actually does have some good like.
What would you say? What would you say? What would you disagree with what he said? I'll try and. I want to hear. Yeah, I want to hear what you found like disagreeable or.
I don't necessarily disagree with him. I just feel like sometimes the way he puts his points across as if like I'm right, you're wrong kind of way, like
condescending, like
like I don't know, like to me, like his points and stuff do make sense, but like the logic and stuff is brilliant. But I am like at times I'm like you're kind of like disagreeing with someone and saying no, you're wrong sometimes, but without telling them why they're wrong. If you get what I mean. But
I don't know. I feel like he He's very good at listening. Anyway, he lets people say their points at least.
Yeah.
That's more than what he gets. A lot of people just shout him down. At least he listens and tries to fucking.
Do you know what he?
I think, but
do you know what
I
he
do
is?
get what you're saying though.
Yeah. But he's the. Sorry, go on.
No, I get what you're saying about him being argumentative, but that's only in the past like 2 years.
Yeah.
But I think that might be because he's been just attacked constantly and misrepresented. I think he just kind of he's on the defensive now, kind of. If there was one thing, if I could talk to him in person and let's say I would mention that, I'd be like, mate, you get very aggressive lately. Like you like not everyone's attacking you. I prefer the old Jordan Peterson where you just listen and just because he used to really explain and go in depth, but then again people didn't want to listen, Connor.
Yeah.
So now he just goes, well, here's what I think, whatever. You do what you want with the information now.
That's the thing.
You know.
What I like about him is
he's a complicated soul.
What I like about him is he's like he puts his points across and he's controversial, but he does it in a academic way. Like instead of say if you listen to the likes of like Andrew Tate or any of those who are just like purely just like trying to get clout or social media or anything.
He's doing it. Andrew Tate does it to be controversial.
Exactly.
Whereas if Jordan Peterson says something that would be called controversial, that's his actual opinion. He just says that's what I think. Take it or leave it, whatever. Yeah. That's why I respect it. Like he's like, this is just my beliefs, and you're allowed to have yours. Like you're allowed to believe crazy shit, but I'm not allowed to question it. Otherwise, I'm a bigot or this. But I can't say this. You're allowed to attack my beliefs, but I can't attack your beliefs. Yeah. Fuck you. I agree with that. I feel like everyone's life should be up to scrutiny if you want to put it this way, right? If you're willing to attack someone's beliefs, you should be willing to have your own beliefs attacked also. That's the nature of war. You can't be like, oh, he said something bad, but I don't agree with him, so delete him off fucking Twitter, delete him off this. Like I can't get behind that. It's bullshit. Yeah. If your idea is that fragile that you're afraid of it being questioned, if you're afraid of it being talked about or asked questions about any belief you have, if you have a fear of that, then you need to relook at the belief that you have. Like, what is it? You need to ask them questions yourself and find out what the fuck you're defending. Because no belief should not be subjected to scrutiny. That's how good ideas are formed, not just fucking, what's that called? Rhetoric and fucking ideologies, let's say, are formed. When you're not allowed, like, you're not allowed to question Christianity, you're not allowed to question the Muslim communities, or you're not allowed to question the Quran, you're not allowed to question the Torah, you're not allowed, religions are a bit fucked like that, where it's like, come believe me. And you're allowed to say to anyone, be like, do you believe in Christ? Oh, well, you're an asshole. You need to believe in Christ because of this. And then they go, but why? Like, did you see God? And you go, no. It's the same thing. It's like, I have this belief about fucking my political views. And they're like, you can't question it because you're a bigot if you question a political belief, which is complete horseshit. Yeah. You know? But I don't know. I'm going down rabbit holes here. I'm going to get very angry. Very like, going to get me picket and go marching or something. It's like... Oh god, I literally misrepresent myself so much sometimes. I know what I'm trying to say, but I talk about it in such a bollocks way. I'm left going, fuck, I sound like a fucking idiot, like, you know. I know what I mean, and I don't care. Oh Christ. Oh Jesus, Connor, it's nearly been an hour. Do you want?
I know, yeah. That's what I was gonna say, yeah.
You wrap this bad boy up,
we'll wrap it up, yeah.
Yeah. But, go on, give us an outro there. Give us an outro.
Yeah, thanks for listening to our rambles. Hopefully he's watched a few UFO programs and give us some comments in and say what you think about UFOs. Yeah, I'm interested to know. Send us some articles and stuff as well.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
I'm gonna give them a sound bite. I'm gonna go, keep your eyes to the skies. Right, thanks everyone for listening. We shall literally see us. This is going to be like a weekly thing again. We're going to get back on. Yeah. So, appreciate you tuning in. And you shall see us on a Sunday. Connor, we upload them on the Sunday, will we?
Sunday, yeah.
Sunday or Saturday. Sundays then. This is episode 2, but we're recording this one because we had the other one recorded a while ago and we're doing the EP, so blah, blah, blah. See you in the next one. Goodbye.
Bye.